to Radio Free America. This is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the walls. The chair is against the walls. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
All right, welcome to our daily gun show, and nobody showed up tonight, so we'll see what happens here, but doesn't look good. So yeah, we come to you live each weeknight and talk about guns for an hour when there's something to talk about or somebody to talk to. So we ran late because of Clover, so he ruined the show. All right. Oh. All that's seen over there is green lights going off. A bunch of people on the YouTube side, people on the gun channel side are turning it off. Yeah, they were all at Yankees and Clovers, I guess. Is Yankees still going? So that probably explains it. Yankees told our chat. Told our audience. Very well. Guess thanks for showing up. But it's going to be a quick show tonight. It's longer to put the thumbnail together than the show's going to last. Yeah, I was in Clover's show, so guess everybody's signing off. And somebody's jumping in. So that's the show. I don't know anything about the red flag laws enough to know what most of them do, so it's going to be a challenge to know what any of them do, let alone how they compare to each other. Who wants to dig into that? It seems like a chore. Somebody's going to have to do it, I guess. Yeah, it's not even packed. There's 15 people watching. Nobody's joining though. Best of Shot Show was hanging out with people, I guess. A lot of potential for it. Yeah, no shit. And there's Gary. So, Gary, now you have to run the show.
I have to run the show? Oh, wow.
Yeah. What happened? Everybody was over in Clover's and then ditched out, so it was too late.
Everybody said they were tired and went to bed.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
I'm here.
Oh, there's Sergeant here now. So how did Yankees chat go with cops or whatever? I quit watching.
It went. It wasn't terrible. I mean, I got to go back. I'm not going to go back and watch the chat because I saw some silly things in there. And it just is what it is. And I think it went okay.
So what, you're pro-military cops? You want all the cops to have body armor, run around tanks, shoot first, ask questions later, no consequences?
No, not in the least.
So it sounds like, from what I understand, if the cops didn't want to die, then they shouldn't have taken the job, because the job is to die, and the job is to die a bloody death, and if they didn't want that job, they shouldn't have taken it. So they should basically run around in underwear, being nice to everybody and never being mean.
There was a little bit of that, but not much.
no, I don't know where they're coming from. I don't know why I didn't get an invite, but mainly because I probably didn't have much to say. So I wouldn't have added much at all. But I definitely am not for police state or nothing, but I
No.
don't understand where, like, what do you want? Like, the military is just going to leave shit where it's at. I mean, Yankee was in the Army. He knows. Like, when they're done with something, they quit touching it. They walk away from it, basically. If it's super dangerous, they'll blow it up sometimes. Otherwise, they just leave it sitting there because they don't care. It was a commodity that was done with. So they just leave it. It costs too much to drag it home. So now they drag the shit home and give it to cops. So now it's like really expensive shit doesn't just get left somewhere for somebody else to use it. Now some cops using it, and I don't care if a cop has to drive up on a meth lab. Who cares if they drive up in an armored car and don't get hurt? I mean, that's the whole point. Like, let them drive up in a meth lab. Now, if they're abusing it and just driving up in the old grandma's front yards, then quit doing that. But I don't see them doing that.
No, that was the argument to a lot of that stuff. Well, if you give them an opportunity, they're going to do it. No. The neighboring county has one of these things, and they're conservative. They rarely ever get it out. But literally, it costs about $2.2 million on average for a legal shoot, where the person that got shot gave people no choice, or maybe even wanted to get shot. You know, suicide by cop. It costs $2.2 million on average. So if you could use a $400,000 vehicle to get close enough to be able to take them into custody, it's only in certain situations.
But there are those situations where the guy went crazy and he's in his apartment or his living room, and you basically use those armored vehicles to drive up to the front door and drop like a tear gas grenade into his house instead of like trying to do it from the street or something, right?
Yeah, they can push it in there and dump as much as you could possibly think into that room till they pass out, and go in there with gas masks, get them, take them into custody, and not have to hurt anyone.
Yeah. So, I mean,
you haven't had to hurt them.
And then they put them on parades. Now, at the same time, I don't want the police looking like South America, where they run around looking like this. You can't tell they're saying military and police. And, like, I think what Yankees afraid about is like that, where you get, like, police parades where they're walking along. It looks like it might as well be communist Russia with their, like, military parades, you know?
Yeah, we don't want that.
Yeah. But at the same time, you know, like I say, I don't know where to draw the line, but I don't have a problem with some military vehicles and stuff. And then the military tactics, I mean, tactics are tactics. Like, who cares what the source of it is? If it is effective, then it's effective. And if it's a better way to bust into a house, then it's a better way to bust into a house. If you're doing it wrong, if you're doing it in the wrong times, then that's consequences. But I don't think you should be hindered and somehow hands tied behind your back because the source of the information is from military.
Well, of course, because they're doing it more often than police are.
At least right now, yeah, exactly.
So you might as well learn from their mistakes and their successes. Because the whole point is trying to do it with less people getting hurt on either side of the equation. The military training I've had, other than, I mean, I've had SWAT training, but I've not had any military training other than we have a tracking company that has come in that has taught man tracking. I've got my level 1 and level 2 certification. What are we going to apply that to? We're going to apply it to every once in a while, maybe tracking a bad guy. But what we're going to apply it to is tracking a lost hiker, a lost person, or an Alzheimer's patient that has wandered off. That's where we're going to apply it. There's a military training I've had. And tactical emergency casualty care, we're talking about, you know, triaging people, trying to keep people alive until they could get further care. There's my 2 military classes. That's all I've had.
Yeah, and then, like, so somebody's out hiking and they're beyond their limits, or they get stressed or dehydrated, and then something happens and now they got a piece of wood sticking in their gut. That's where you got a perforating injury, where you're using all that trauma care, and it's, you know, it's out in the middle of nowhere, so you've got to use the same kind of stuff you'd use, you know, that's beyond rather like an EMT would have with an ambulance sitting next to them. So yeah, that's where most of the time you're going to end up applying that stuff, right?
Yeah, that's the military training I have. And then I got the SWAT techniques, but that's about doing it quickly and efficiently, and just depends on the task that's being completed, but it's about doing it quickly and efficiently and getting it done and making a place safe or taking a person into custody and then turning it over. That's it.
Now, I was thinking about that because I think you had talked about it. I'm getting that lung stuff too. So, talking's a little bit tough, but you were talking about the thing the other night, so I was thinking about it, and I don't know any cops that aren't pro-gun, but on the other hand, I don't know it like a ton of cops. The only cops I know are pro-gun because I know them through gun shops and stuff, and I know them through gun stuff, right? So the only cops, I guess I'm weighted or I'm lopsided. You know, I don't know cops that are anti-gun or like that don't care about guns. There must be those cops. I just would have never dealt with them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I know police from all different areas and municipalities and whatnot, state level, local level, and the vast majority are pro-gun. Now, can I go a short distance away where the whole area is much more liberal? And is that cross section going to be different? Oh yeah, it's going to be way different. But I still don't think, and I'll stand by my opinion, I still don't think it's most. I think the ones that are on TV and the ones that are getting paraded around by the media are anti-gun, but I still don't think it's most. I would say it's, and I'm just guessing because I got no way to verify this. I would guess that it's at least 2/3 are pro, and it could be as much as 75-25, but I think it's more are pro 2A than are anti 2A. And that's, but you got to count for everywhere. You got to count for every big city. That's where your anti ones are, and all out in the rural areas is where the pro ones are.
Yeah, I mean, if you're counting all law enforcement, so sheriff and police, I'd group it like appointed police or anti-gun, because they're always in stupid places and they're doing whatever their politicians tell them to do because they appointed them. And then you've got elected sheriffs, and they're usually whatever the area is, and that's almost always pro-gun, right? I don't know if that works as a generalization, but that's how I tend to look at it.
Well, just think if you had to work or send your guys to go work in the really crime-laden streets of, like, say, downtown Philadelphia or in the worst parts of New York, would you be pro 2A? You probably wouldn't be, because of all the people that you're coming in contact with. They don't come in contact with all the good people unless they're victims. They come in contact with the bad people, and they don't want them to have the guns, but we all know that they're not going to follow the law to begin with. So, but that's how they get skewed because of what they deal with. I don't deal with what they deal with, and I may be skewed as well if I had to deal with that every day. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think that's an out, or that's like you know what I mean, that you still should understand the Second Amendment is different than criminals running around criminalizing each other or betting people.
But I think sometimes they just get things twisted with all the things they see every day, and it might distort they start viewing everyone as criminals, probably, when you're dealing with that many.
I don't disagree. I mean, you're true. If you're dealing with it and that's your job and your day-to-day, you might not be looking at everything bird's eye view of the whole country. You might be looking at the day-to-day of staying alive every day, and your focus might be a lot smaller, right, on one little area.
Have you ever dealt with anybody from like those big cities like that? They think that's the whole world, just their area.
Well, yeah, we all know John Z. Come on.
Yeah. Well, he's more evolved. He understands. He branches out, whether he's still stuck there, but he's evolved and sees that there's a lot more stuff. You travel all over, you see it. Some people that live in those neighborhoods or just work in those neighborhoods, they just stay there their whole lives.
No, it's true. And there's millions of people in some of these cities. So that means there's millions of people that really never travel or get out or really put much thought into what's going on or what supplies the cities or any of that shit.
Some of them don't even own a car, and they spend the majority of their life just in a few blocks because everything you ever need's there. So it's a different mentality, and I could see how they could get a distorted view of the whole country, because the whole country is not like those places. So these kids are still awake.
He's old now. Probably not. He snoozes.
I heard that. I am, yes, still awake. Well rested after service chat.
Well, I'll just have you know that I didn't know how to turn a camera on until I was informed.
Let me guess, Snob had something to do with it.
I cannot confirm nor deny that.
I already know. I mean, I just do.
Did you see that, G?
No, what are you talking about?
Gary was chat napping at the end, and I went through him to give his closing plug, and he was out. I'm not going to say I've never fallen asleep, but we all got done. We went off air. We went back to him to see if he was still there, and before we went off air, and he wasn't. He was out. So I was like, somebody said, turn his camera on, see if he's asleep. I'm like, I can't turn the camera on. They're like, oh, yes, you can. And we're not going to go over how to do it, but I found that we could turn the camera on, and there was poor Gary out cold.
I didn't know you could do that. It's scary.
Yeah.
And then Scotsman took the luxury of putting it on Instagram. So,
Yeah, he did kind of go right over the top on that one.
yeah.
Well, those little post-it note things are your friend. Or so people are always sending around stickers, so take a chunk of a sticker and stick it over that little glass part. Good to go.
I'll say next time there's going to be something in front of that camera. I guarantee you.
You know, those little privacy screens. Right as your eyes are getting heavy, you just click it down.
Well, I could tell. I was laying there listening, and my eyes were going shut. It's like, you better stop that. You're going to fall asleep. You better not do it. Next thing I know, I wake up and I'm the only one to hang out. It's like, oh crap.
That's the thing. Yeah, you don't realize you're asleep till you wake up.
Yeah.
Dang it.
I said, I'm going to catch heck for this. And sure enough, I went to Instagram. It's like, yep.
Dang it. Hey, gee, I invested in a gimbal.
Oh yeah, I saw that. So are you going to incorporate it onto that setup or do a different setup completely?
I'm mentally going through it, and I think I'm going to improve what I already have. I'm going to redesign it and incorporate the gimbal, and I think it'll be a pretty dang good rig, because I saw some places where I could have used it for doing those type of interviews, but I did what a lot of people suggested. I didn't go with the GoPro one, because then you're kind of limited to the GoPro. I got a cell phone one because I want to do some more live streaming while we walk around. I want to start, like you were saying, I want to incorporate like what you said. I did one little live stream from SHOT Show while I was walking out, and I said it was winding down, and I kind of thought that was fun. I think I might do just like a little live streaming as you walk through an event. I'm thinking, Wanamaker, I could do like a little live stream there, walk through it, but be able to flip over to I could use it with a GoPro as well, which is a minor adjustment for doing produced content, for getting the real good footage, but I could do some live streaming with the camera. So I think I can put together a good multi-use setup. I'm running it through my head. I'm going to start drawing it out, and then I'm going to make it. I saw some good, not some cheap ones. I saw some good cold shoe mounts that bolt on Amazon. I just think I can rebuild it and make a good rock solid package that would be multi-use. I could just swap out the camera and add in the battery pack and buy some cool shorter cables that aren't hanging everywhere. And I think I can build a pretty sweet little package and put the tripod mount on the bottom, so I could just throw it up on the tripod and not have to disassemble it. So that's kind of the goal. I want to try it out at Wanamaker and maybe the Firearms Museum out there. Maybe do a little video in there.
And you've already been to the museum there?
I have never been to Tulsa.
So the museum there has glass in front of the guns, and if you trying to remember now, I know that Clover the first year had this like PVC pipe thing that he kind of made to hold his camera, and I think that worked out pretty good for like holding the camera the right distance from the glass, that when he held that like contraption up to the glass, it saw right through him and you couldn't see anything. But anyway, that's one of them issues. So talk to Clover and Ghost, or Gary's been there a couple of times now, gotten good video. his name, Raphael, that got some good video or good pictures too. So anyway, FYI, there's some glass issues at that museum. That there's some glare issues if you're in the wrong angle or like too far from it or something.
Yeah, the first time through, my video didn't turn out so well, so you kind of learn after that to keep that in mind.
I'm going to try to incorporate this thing into a little bit of my produced content, because if I use the phone, it can actually track you. You can click on an object like your shirt or your face or your eyeglasses or something like that. It can actually track you and move. It'll follow you. And that might give like the illusion of a camera person. So I might use it just a little bit in that aspect. I'm going to try to get the most out of it.
You ever put those like clip-on lenses in front of the cell phone camera to give it like wide angle and telephoto, micro?
No, I haven't, but because I'd kind of gotten away from using my phone. But if I want to use that active tracking, it's got to use the front camera because you got to be able to see the screen. So luckily my phone's got a pretty good front camera, so I'm going to experiment. I mean, if I don't use that one function, that's not the end of the world. But you can't put one of those on the front. You can put them on the back, which this thing has a good camera, but I've got to experiment. I'm starting back over. I just got my program kind of straightened out. And now I'm starting back over. So it's going to be fun. I know Night Strike said he's going to look into a gimbal as well.
Yeah, I'm going to get the Zhiyun Smooth 4.
Yeah, I have nothing bad to say about that one. I've only heard good things. And so far, I can say good things about this DJI. So definitely save up a few extra pennies and get a good one. Yeah, no, I just couldn't talk myself into the GoPro one. I couldn't figure out a reason why to have it. You know, it's a little over twice as much, and I can't justify it.
Twice as much money?
Yeah, this one was $129. It was pretty reasonable. The GoPro one is, if you can find it on sale, it's still $270, and I can't figure out why. So I just couldn't do it.
It's got to be the interface with the GoPro, I guess, because those things have some kind of smartphone interface where you can zoom and do that controls with your thumb, right, of the smartphone.
Yeah, and that is it. But I'm thinking, is that worth it? I think I can get more out of the cell phone interface than I can the GoPro.
You know, you were using your cell phone to interface with the GoPro before anyway, right? Yeah, so who cares if your little gimbal can interface? I can't see how that could be any better without a screen anyway. Are you going to interface with just your thumb and no screen?
Yeah, I think I was better off getting the cell phone type gimbal with the GoPro attachment than it was trying to get the GoPro attachment and never being able to use a cell phone with it. I think I made the best choice. We'll see. It's to be determined.
I can see your point.
Yeah. I still don't know if I'm right yet, but that's my theory that I'm going with.
I mean, if I do get the GoPro, that doesn't mean that's the only thing I'll ever use.
Yeah. I'd gotten away from using my phone, but I think I'm going to go back to using it some, because I can see some instances where it would be beneficial. But we'll see. What GoPro are you getting, Gary? Sorry.
Well, I was looking at least the 5 Black.
You know that, like Snob did, he said you take any camera that you had, and I don't know why they're doing it so cheap. You take any camera you have that cost over $100 or cost $100 originally, whether it works or not, and they will give you $100 off the brand new Hero 7 Black. You want the black. You don't want the silver or the white. You want the black. Has the most features and has that real good gyro.
Mm-hmm.
And it's $299 from GoPro. $299 for the
What,
best
do you
one.
just send your old camera to them, or?
Yep, they have a trade-in program. You go to their website.
Is that
Really? I got one I barely paid $100 for. I'll trade.
$299, and then they take $100 off, or after?
No. After. But I paid almost $500 for the 6 last Christmas because it was brand new. and now you can get the new and improved one for $299. Holy mackerel!
So I just watched well, I didn't just, but I've seen a show about the company GoPro, and they're not in good shape. So, still worth buying their cameras in your mind?
About doing what with a GoPro?
Well, the company itself had been doing really well, and then they did poorly. Like they're on the decline. You know what I'm saying? That's not an issue. You're still buying their tech. It's not like a better camera coming along.
And I don't know if there's a better one, but that might be why they're trying to drum up some money by
They're getting
turning
some
loose of these.
competition out there. There's some other companies making similar hardware now.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's not like they're dying because they made a bunch of bad product. Just now they don't have the
They
dominant
made bad
market.
decisions. They made bad decisions. They didn't stick with it and like dominate it. They just tried to do too much and then spent way too much money. And they're just a bad company decisions. Now they're dying. It's just that, like you say, anybody can make a camera. Their thing was that they, had the like, I don't know, the lifestyle to go along with it and the marketing and everything. But camera's a camera, and the form factor is, because they were such a big chunk of the market, they had the form factor going. But now people can build, to that same form factor, so your mounts still work and
They're probably coming back down to what they should have cost instead of being overpriced.
yeah.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
guy that comments is saying, is there any way for them to get hacked? Because you're using them through your cell phone. I mean, somebody could come along and use their cell phone to see through your camera. Is that a thing or no?
Well, that's what I did at SHOT Show, but I mean, you have to have the password. They have to be synced together, which takes a minute or two.
Plus, you have to leave Bluetooth on in order for that to work. You also have to leave, who knows, even NFC might do it as well if your phone supports NFC. So, don't have NSC or Bluetooth on, and, unless they got the code to your phone, they can't get in.
Yeah. It's difficult enough to sync it up when you're trying, let alone if you're hacking.
But then again, you saw what happened to Apple with the FaceTime issue. They found there's a pretty simple hack that kids figured out how to exploit that would allow you to turn anybody's, basically the mic on their phone and listen to them.
Well, yeah, but that person has to initiate the conversation first. That was a more of a fault in their programming with the ability of shutting the program off, and not so much them being able to hack into it without first the call being initiated.
Well, from what I understood, they could make a FaceTime call to somebody and them never even answer the call, and you could still turn on the mic and listen to them.
Yeah, that's my point, is they weren't necessarily hacking as much as they were initiating the call, and the program had a flaw in its ability to shut off. That's different than just hacking into somebody you don't know's stuff. If they don't know you, they can't FaceTime you. That's so, like in the case like he's talking about with hacking
Oh,
into
I
the
see what you're
camera.
saying.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so that went all around kind of interesting topics tonight. Anybody got a gun shop that we can feature? Last gun shop we went to.
No, I don't. You talk about like what guns we want in the future? Is that what you said?
No, gun shop. Gun store feature.
I got a gun shop I haven't been to in a while since I'm not in that state, but I'd love to give them a shout out.
Go for it.
City Arms in Pacifica in California. They are one of the last few mom and pop gun shops still out in that area, and they're one of the few gun shops. I think they're actually the closest gun shop now on that side of San Francisco. So they're full of good people. They're a family-run shop. They're right off the beach, and you go in there. They're really nice. Even if you're a first-time gun buyer, they're incredibly helpful. The whole staff there has always been lovely to me. And their prices are pretty rock solid for a gun shop in California.
So by San Francisco?
In Pacifica, yeah. So right outside of San Francisco, that's where they are. Right off of Pacifica Beach. They are the closest gun shop to being in that side of the bay that I know of that's still open.
I guess they're becoming a rarity out there, aren't they?
Yeah, San Francisco is one of those towns where if you close, you can't get your license again, right?
Yeah, the licenses are non-transferable, and like when City Arms finally, when the owner passes or decides that he's going to close up shop, that's going to be a sad case because you couldn't even get a gun shop zoned in that area anymore. So yeah,
well, that sucks.
Yeah, I went to a couple of towns like that, but yeah, I went to San Francisco. It's even worse. It's a big place.
Yep.
All right, well, I'm having a coughing fit, so I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks, everybody, for joining us, and thanks for jumping in on the panel. Otherwise,
Oh, yeah. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, thanks for the invite.
Thanks for the invite.
So, yeah, I'm having a coughing fit. I'm going to end it and see you all tomorrow.